In today's video, we're going to check out two different audio solutions from Soundcore when it comes down to open ear design earbuds. We're talking about the Aerofit2 and the C40i. Both of them provide us the ability of listening to outside noises at the same time as listening to our music, meaning we're in the moment but still be able to have content being played into our ears, and the ability of playing, connecting to two different devices at the same time, the ability of supporting LDAC on the Aerofit2, and even more features provided to us with these two audio solutions. So, without further ado, this is TK and this is the Aerofit2 and the C40i from Soundcore. Let's check them out. Like and subscribe, and make sure you hit that bell icon so that you're always notified whenever we have new videos for you on the channel. So here we have it right in front of us, the C40i, the updated version for 2024. This is updated from the C30i from last year, and of course the Aerofit2. Both of them are providing us an open ear solution, which means for the most part, our ear canal is not blocked. There is nothing inside of it. There's nothing blocking the entire ear. And I think that's the benefit here. You're able to listen to things around you and still be able to enjoy music. Let's say you're walking around at an airport, in a store, and somebody calls your name. You're not going to miss that notification. You're not going to miss somebody calling you because you're going to be able to hear sound coming in. This is something that a lot of people like to do, especially when they're working out at the gym. They don't want to have that total isolation, but they still want to be able to listen to music. The system here is slightly different. These will clip to your ears and actually sit up more closer to the bottom or closer to your earlobe. These will actually sit and loop around your ear. You'll notice there's the battery pack on the back, and the speaker sits ever so slightly sitting here. And there's actually ways of configuring this so that it sits in the right position, providing you the best audio. Both of them have some water and dust resistance, IPX4 on the C40i and IP55 on the Aerofit. And one thing to mention, due to the size of the battery, we're able to get up to 42 hours when we're using the actual buds with the case, again, charging them multiple times, and here up to 21 hours with the case, but again, about 7 hours to 10 hours depending on the experience. Also, we have LDAC support here on the Aerofit2, which we don't have, but both of them do support multi-connections, which means we can connect them to two devices at the same time. I have both of them. On the right side, I have the C40i, and on the left side, I have, again, the Aerofit2. The design of the Aerofit2 is definitely very nice and pretty much what I feel like is the standard look when we talk about open ear. You can see here the Soundcore logo, the battery sitting at the top, the two prong connectors. And one thing to mention is that the area here, you'll notice this actually is configurable. You can actually adjust it so that it sits directly on your ear or right in front of your ear canal. The other thing is this actually works with touch configuration, which means we're actually going to be able to touch it to initiate the ability stopping music, skipping track, and so on. C40i, we'll notice is there's a button on the back, which means we actually have to press the button and to actually get it to do the configurations. What I like about them is that both provide us the ability of knowing which one is the right, which one is the left. And they charge directly within the case themselves. Let's go ahead and put them back in here. The Aerofit2 does allow us to actually charge them wirelessly as well as wired. We have a pairing button that's positioned there and an LED light that's positioned ever so nicely here. So whenever we open it, you'll notice it lights up, gives us the indicator of when it's charging, discharging, or even basically when it's fully charged. On the right side, very much the same configuration. The difference is now these are actually just magnetic and they sit. Now, these, as you can imagine, may not fit everybody's ears. Not everybody's ears are shaped this way. They do have additional pieces that allow us to actually get a better grip. And those are also provided for us, again, inside the actual package. You have a medium and a large. By itself, for me, it works really good. But again, depending on your ears, you may need additional areas here added so that it becomes a little bit, I guess, easier to grip on your ear and it's not as loose. But at the end of the day, both of them do include a USB-A to USB-C cable to be able to charge them up from any actual, charger or even your PC. And you can see them right there. The case battery level as well as the earbuds themselves. The case will always obviously be the lowest since it charges the buds back to 100% every time you put them back in. You have the ability of customizing the audio experience, Soundcore signature, bass configuration, even your own custom EQ with 3D surround sound configuration as well. Last but not least here, as far as control, you're able to customize the experience in here, but we also have the ability of controlling volume by pressing and holding on the left earbud to go down and on the right earbud to go up. Single press gets to answer and double press to hang up on phone calls, so very nice and simple. Dual connection, again, turn it on, connect it to a second device, and you can customize that experience as well. I didn't connect them to anything else. I've been running them on this device, the Pixel 9 Pro Fold, and they've been working really good. Low battery prompt, obviously in case that ends up happening there. Update firmware, I did receive one update since I've received these buds and they've been installed. But other than that, it's pretty straightforward when it comes to the C40i. Now, when we switch over here to the Aerofit2, get a slightly different configuration. You'll notice right here that there's an actual word that's called LDAC. Yes, we do have support for LDAC here as far as audio configuration. Same tuning experience. You can go into default, 3D surround sound, custom EQ, or even the profiles that we have installed. We have control configuration, again, on both the left and the right earbud. And of course, we can jump into dual connection, customize them. One thing to mention though, when we do turn on to dual configuration here, and this is typical to Soundcore, we always lose the LDAC. So higher audio quality does drop a little bit when we are using it. So this is something to keep in mind, and one of the reasons why I haven't activated the functionality here. Gaming mode provides us a low latency configuration. We are able to also jump in here, customizing the volume balance. The sound mode, this is where you turn on LDAC. And of course, we have prompt tone, auto power off, find my device, the widget configuration, and updating firmware. I did have 2 updates that it came in since I've had the actual buds themselves, but at the end of the day, the experience is going to come down to the form factor that you're looking to use. Either be it over the ear, sitting there hanging a little bit behind the ear as far as the battery, or clipped in on the ear, and that will be basically the differences from when it comes down to comfort and usage for you. So starting off with the C40i, pretty straightforward. You pick them up and they kind of look like earrings. You basically put it at the top part of your ear and then slide it down so that you're actually able to get it ever so gently. So there's an instruction in there that explains to you exactly how to put it. So it sits straight up, the button faces a little bit to the back, and then once you have that done, you're pretty much ready to go. And again, as I mentioned, the big difference here with what you get with these type of earbuds as opposed to some of the other options, I can still hear everything. There is no noise cancellation, there is no noise isolation. You're not trying to reduce the environmental sound, you're trying to get audio at the same level, at the same time actually, as listening to the environment, so being aware. So if you're outdoors, you're hanging around the kids, you want to make sure that you can hear the kids. You're at the airport, you don't want to miss out your gate. And I've covered things like this in the past, but the biggest thing that I'll probably say is these provide us a very unique experience. They don't sit over the ear, as you can see right there. They kind of look like earrings. I can actually just do by just pressing on the back here, start the music itself. It'll connect directly to the device, right there. Press again, stops. Customizing the experience is very straightforward. The biggest difference between the two here is that these will sit over your ear. So you take them both out, again, just loop it, put it on. Same thing for this one. Just make sure you put them on the right ear so that the speakers are facing correctly. And this is where, so here you need to kind of make sure that it sits all the way in the back. So kind of like loop it down. And then once you have that done, just ever so nicely position the actual speaker to face inward. So once it faces inward, it'll sit right over kind of like your ear, and it'll start positioning the speaker to play the audio straight into it. So this is kind of the closest configuration that I'll say. Again, not exactly for everybody, but it depends on everybody's usage. If this is the style that you're looking for, the Aerofit2 will work the best. And of course, these are touch configurations, so you don't have to actually press any buttons. So you just basically kind of touch them, and it will move, but just be aware, obviously it'll sit there. It'll configure, or it'll basically control your device, start, stop music. Again, we do have LDAC support for higher quality audio, although I'm not sure 100% if you'll be able to hear the differences between standard or an LDAC audio, mostly if there's any sound that's coming around you. Again, for noise cancellation, noise isolation, Soundcore does have other buds that provide you that experience. These are intended to be for you when you're aware what's going on. So let's go outside real quick and do an audio test on the microphones on both the Aerofit2 and the C40i. We're going to start off with the C40i. There's a little bit of wind going on right now. We're recording the audio straight off of the microphones directly on our Pixel device. And of course, this is going to be a good sample of what the audio sounds like. The case itself is small, it's compact. They look pretty straightforward. I mean, almost looking like earrings. But for the most part, I think most people recognize it nowadays that these are actually earbuds, but they're just not in ear. They're basically an open ear solution. The audio sounds great. The battery life is actually pretty consistent. And once you use them a couple of times, you get pretty used to actually configuring them on the ear and where to put them. The other thing, though, is if it doesn't actually hold correctly, let's say you have thinner ears, you're able to actually use the additional spacers that they provide you to be able to get the best experience there. Let's go ahead and switch over to the Aerofit 2. Now, the Aerofit 2 have a different configuration. They sit kind of like over a loop. The battery itself sits on the back behind the ear, and the speaker sits, it's a little bit in front of your ear, and depending on your ear configuration, they may be snug, they may be a perfect fit, but you're able to actually configure the piece or the speaker itself a little bit up and down. That's actually an improvement over some of the other designs that we've seen on the market. The biggest thing that we'll definitely get here is better audio quality since we do support LDAC. Both of the buds themselves support multi-point connection. The case on the Aerofit 2 does support wireless charging, where the other one does not. But the other configuration that we definitely benefit from here is these are intended to be a little bit more sport functional. And again, I feel like these will work great with anybody that's looking to have that open experience, but also the ability of configuring the earpiece so that it's not sitting on its own. The battery does sit behind there, and they do look a little bit more like what we think of open earbuds, as opposed to the other configuration, which looks a little bit more of an earring. But both allow you to be in the moment. I can hear everything. And again, they look really good to give you the great audio experience. And we're recording them on our Pixel 9 Pro Fold, again, with the audio coming from the microphones. So as you heard there, the audio actually are pretty decent. It does actually a decent job of removing some of the background noises while I would still be able to listen to them while I'm actually recording the clip. You guys wouldn't be able to hear it as much. So it does provide us a little bit of noise, I guess focusing noise on the actual subject. So on both the Aerofit as well as the C40i. When it comes down to audio performance and basically I would say maybe which one of those two will provide you the best audio experience, I feel like the Aerofit2, mostly because they're bigger and have a longer battery life, provide us a better audio experience. They also support better audio codec with LDAC, but one of the things that you want to keep in mind is that neither one of them will isolate enough to be able to basically cancel out the world. You're not using these to do so. So with that being in mind, the audio on both of these actually sound very good. You can turn on the customizations when it comes down to bass boost, volume boost, or even customizing the EQ to tune it to be the best. At the end, what I'll probably say is make sure you practice a couple of times to get the audio to be fit correctly on your ears. And I'll probably say is play a song on the actual buds themselves and then put them on and move them to the point where you actually are hearing them the best. That's going to be the best position for you, either for the C40i where they clip to the ear or with the Aerofit2, which they go over the ear. That's going to give you the best fit. And then of course, at the end of the day, depending on what you're trying to do. For me, I find that they work best when we need to be aware of what we're doing and still be able to enjoy content. Meaning, if you're doing some work when you're outside and you don't want to basically miss somebody calling your name, you're with the kids, you're at a game, or you just say you're at an airport, you want to listen to some music, but you don't want to miss your airplane being called. And of course, make sure that you don't miss your flight. So there's a lot of situations where audio awareness or spatial awareness is very much important while we still enjoy content from our sound solution. And I feel like Soundcore does a decent job on both of them. The customizations, the EQ, the experiences, the control. I like the fact that we actually have the ability of controlling volume without having to touch our phone. So you can put the phone down, walk away, and still have the ability of raising the volume by pressing and holding it, or of course, and lowering it with the left ear. But at the end of the day, again, this is a different solution. But if you're looking for something like this for either sport, outdoors, again, events, or anything that where you need to be aware of what's going on, but still listen to music, I think the C40i and obviously the Aerofit2 will provide you the best solution. It's going to come down to the fit and what you feel like works the best for you. Either more of an ear clip type of a solution with the C40i or over the ear loop with the Aerofit2, you're not going to be disappointed. Thank you very much for the support. Like and subscribe as usual. And of course, I will see you in the next video.